Hey, welcome back. I had just had a blue screen of death. I don't know why. Oh boy. My computer's been acting up recently. I think it's probably the cat hair or something. And my frame rate's dipping pretty low too, isn't it? Okay, well I don't know what to do. I want to make one long video of my MCM menu. Oh, and by the way, I'm not able to look up yeah, there we go, that's the window there, the chat window, but unfortunately, yeah, I can't bring it up, unfortunately. The chat window keeps on yeah, my frame, jeez, why is it so low? It wasn't this low last time. Oh yeah, see, that chat window alone brought down my frame rate down to the 20s. So I'm gonna have to turn that off. I can't see what people's comments, unfortunately, right now. Dang it. You know what? In fact, wait. I'm gonna stop this. Sorry, I can't do this. I'm gonna. Let me stop this. Sorry about that. I'm gonna go back and I'm just going to do a very base vanilla Skyrim. I'm so sorry, but this is going to be a vanilla Skyrim with just my mod installed. Yeah, let's do that. Yep, the only thing installed right now. Oh, you can't see this, can you? Because it's on Skyrim is closed, so I'm still streaming. But yeah, so we're going to go in vanilla Skyrim. Yay! Well, as vanilla as you can get. I still have to have various mods still installed, like Sky UI obviously has to be installed, and Papyrus Util. Those two are requirements, and of course SKSE. But yeah, I don't consider those really. For me, they're part of the vanilla experience. I mean, you can't really play without them. And I can't load the. Oh wait, actually, yeah. Let's delete these. And I don't even have alternate starter installed, so I don't want to go through the whole beginning cutscene. So we're just gonna pop directly into Whiterun, and that means everything's gonna be extremely ugly. I don't know why. For now, the streaming has just been kind of difficult. My graphics card has been acting. What the? My graphics card has been acting really wonky recently. So hopefully it'll work this time. Yeah, it's still, for some reason, man, that's just killing my frame rate, isn't it? Yeah, see, that just alone. I really can't do that. Right now it's at the 45-ish. Only 45? I was sure I was going to get a whole 60. Well, it doesn't matter. Okay. Anyways, I do apologize for this delay. Let's get this show on the road. I don't know. Something's wrong with my graphics card, which is why even as Blackout King just mentioned, my audio and video aren't in sync. I don't know if they're back in sync yet. I hope so. But anyways, I'm just gonna go really quick through all the options. A lot of these are all self-explanatory. So this turns on my mod. It's suspended, so let's turn it on. Here we go. If you turn it on, you have to exit You have to exit to make sure that it's starting, and then I am on. So in other words, it's the mod is active. Good. Next, environmental blindness. Environmental blindness means that normal characters will not be able to see you as well in the dark, and also in inclement weather, such as blizzards and rainstorms and whatnot. And this option is necessary for night vision to function, because night vision means that they aren't blinded as much by darkness and bad weather. Well, actually, no. They're not blinded as much by darkness as normal characters. They are blinded slightly more than normal characters by inclement weather, like blizzards and snowstorms and rain. Why? Because in real life, creatures that have night vision, shall we say, nocturnal vision, have a larger number of rods, which are more sensitive to motion, and so I just assume that lots of movement, shall we say, rain and snow will make it harder to detect whether, with everything in motion, it's harder to detect whether some creature is trying to sneak up and whatnot. Anyways, that's how it is. Smell. Enable smell. All creatures by default can smell, even NPCs. Humans can smell, but they have a very, very terrible sense of smell, which means they won't be able to smell you unless you're extremely filthy, and also right up in their face. So it's not really an issue for most NPCs. Next, heat vision. Undead can detect you by default. You can turn it off. All these options are for turning on and off those options we just said. Heat vision. Undead can detect you by heat, by your body heat, which is also has frostfall. Temperature and frostfall coverage and warmth values are accommodated. They're calculated into your detection level for heat detection. Oh, and smell. Bathing in Skyrim, your dirtiness level is also their dirtiness level value is used in calculating your smell. Magic and perception, Dwemer are able to detect you by a magicka, and we can turn that off if you want. Bam. They can no longer detect you by magicka. Nobody can. Next, add items to the level list. So there are some books, some spells. There is one enchanted item that you can find that will decrease your heat vision. You can turn that off if you want. Now, obviously, if you have heat vision disabled, those items will not be enabled in the world. Likewise, they won't be able. The spells that cover your smell, the spells that cover your heat, radiant heat, are not available if you turn that off. And the same with this magic perception. Let's turn it back on. And if you want to completely uninstall this mod, absolutely 100%, that's the option to do so. It will prompt you. Do you really want to? What? It's supposed to prompt you, but it's not working. I wonder if that's broken, or it's just being stubborn. Ah, see, there we go. Do you really wish to uninstall my mod, Hot and Sweaty? Yes or no? Tab. I'm going to cancel. I'm not going to install it. Next, setting update frequency. I'm going through all these really quick because I think they're mostly self-explanatory. Setting update frequency. This is how often the background updates. So, for example, it's sunny right now. Well, it's cloudy and it's daytime, and so the variables are going to be set for the daytime cloudy. And how often are we going to check to see that it's daytime cloudy? For example, as time passes on, it'll become afternoon, evening, night, and so on and so forth, or the weather may change. So how often is it going to check to see what the weather's like and what the settings are like? And that is this option here. That's this option here, setting frequency. Next, detection frequency is how often, and thank you for letting me know. Apparently it's synced back in. Good. Detection frequency is how often the mod polls to, for example, set blindness levels. For example, are you in the shadow or not? It checks every 2 seconds. It also is how often that the enemy checks to see if they can smell you. Now, normally there is no polling. If you're outside of their range of smell, they're not going to even poll to see are you available to be smelled. Only if you're constantly within that radius, if you're close to them, it's going to check every 2 seconds to see how well they can smell you. So this is not going to be that intensive, but still 2 seconds, it's a good balance. If it's, you don't have to be, as far as I could tell, with 2 seconds it was still very responsive. I didn't really feel that was sluggish at all. Detection bonus. Detect bonus. Oh, you know what? I'm going to load one of the settings. Load default. There we go. There we go. This is how much of a bonus they get every single time that they detect you. If you're sneaking around and they sense, oh wait, I thought I saw something, they get a bonus to detecting you the next time. This is to prevent those situations where you shoot an arrow in the head of an enemy and then you just go slink into the shadows and then you just wait for 5 seconds and then they forget that you're even there, and you just try shooting them again. I mean, you could do that in vanilla Skyrim. So basically, they have 10 arrows sticking out of the head. They're like, well, no, I just thought I heard something. And so that's kind of not very immersive. It's not very realistic. So to prevent that from happening, every single time they detect you, it's easier to detect you a subsequent time until basically it's impossible to hide. And so that's kind of this bonus here. And the maximum bonus, this is how high that bonus can get. Right now it's set at 100, which is basically you're going to get detected no matter what. You can set it lower than that if you want, if you just want to cap it. I might actually set this higher because I have not tested with Skyrim uncapped. Where, you know, you can have your stealth settings go up to 200, 300, 900 and whatnot. So I may have to change that depending on that. I actually haven't tested it with that. If someone could give me feedback, I could make that change very easily, very quickly. Anyways, this is the bonus reset time. So that detection bonus I just talked about, how long does it take before that detection bonus starts to decrease? 30 seconds. That's what it is. You can set it to whatever you want. I have it as set at 30 seconds. You can set it for longer. Or shorter, if you want it to expire quicker. Alerted wait time. These are two vanilla Skyrim variables. So if the enemy detects you, how long are they going to continue to search for you before they give up? Originally in vanilla Skyrim it was 10 seconds, I think, or maybe 15 seconds. So they just try and find you for 10 to 15 seconds, and they give up, which is way too short. So I made it a whole minute. If you attack them, how long do they search for you? In vanilla it was like 20 seconds, which is still way too short, so I made it 2 whole minutes, because nobody wants to sit around for 2 minutes before they stop searching for you. So, you know, this is to encourage you to be more active in your stealth, so that you actually go around and kill people more effectively. And this is the light level check. This is a hotkey. So right now, how bright am I? The lighting is normal. There we go. You know. Yeah. Next, game stealth settings. Now this is a complicated menu here right now. So first, we start with area type. This is the most important one. This is where are you? What variables are you going to set? Every single one of these areas is independent of every other one. So in a default interior, what does the stealth setting? What are the stealth settings like? And this is the window that sets every single stealth variable in that area type. So default interiors, they have 45% visual clarity and blah 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 blah, and so on and so forth. And you can set that to wilderness, which is just normal default Skyrim Tamriel external cells, just wherever you are. So right now we are in an external cell. This is considered wilderness right now. I'm pretty sure. In fact, we can check. That's another option here. Current stealth stats. We are in the wilderness. Current location, Honeymoon Meadery, and world space is Skyrim. So yes, we are in the wilderness location. So that will be this. This is how it sets it. Okay. In fact, let's stay here in the wilderness. Yeah. So next, diurnal cycle type. This is the day-night cycle. Is it a fully dynamic cycle or is it a static cycle? I mean, if it's static, it doesn't change. This is for interior locations, so it doesn't check every 15 minutes. It will, once you enter the cell, it sets the variables for stealth, and it stays that way the whole time you're there. Does it change over time? No, then why even bother checking? So for internal cells, it's fully static. Now, obviously, this is a wilderness outside, which is fully dynamic. Now, what's the difference between fully static and fully dynamic? Well, what are these other two? Static with weather and weatherless dynamic. I'm pretty sure that's self-explanatory, but fully static means there's no weather, no changes at all, no matter what. Static with weather means it doesn't change and there's a single weather type. That weather type never changes. Or no. Wait, no, that's wrong. It's static as in the variables don't change over time, but weather does change. That's what it means, right? So it will check occasionally to see if there's any changes in weather. So static with weather. Weatherless dynamic just means exactly that. It changes over time. For example, inside an inn or inside of a tavern. You know, it's louder during the day and quieter. No, it's louder during the night and quieter during the day. Or if you're in a store, it's louder during the day and quieter during the night. Those locations, they're weatherless dynamic locations. And in fact, yeah, we can go there. An inn, weatherless dynamic, as you can see. And so those are the options here. Now this is these next options. These options only exist in dynamic areas. Obviously, if you're in a static area, they're grayed out. So this is obviously the times that the night and day cycles start. So when does night start? 9 p.m. When does dawn start? So this is the end of nighttime, which is 5 a.m. Now you may say, well, that's a little early, isn't it? This is actually the time when the variable, when it starts becoming slightly brighter. If you look at the light levels in game using cheat mods, using the player.getLight level, which is why I set it to 5 o'clock. But if you have a different setup, some mods may change this. I think there is a mod that actually dynamically changes. No, it doesn't dynamically change. I think you have to change it manually. I don't remember, but there is a mod that changes the time of day, when day starts and night starts and all that. So if in that case, you'll have to go into the menu and change it manually. So, you know what? Manage areas. Maybe I should. Oh, it doesn't matter. I'll do that later. Okay, next. So this is those are these times. And so basically, is it night or is it? There are actually two phases. There's a night phase and a day phase. And in between night and day phases is twilight, and it basically scales the variables from the night variables to the day variables gradually over the entire course of twilight. And that's basically that's why this is here. Next, darkness threshold. If the light level is less than 75 at nighttime, then the NPCs around you will be blinded, proportional to how much darker it is compared to that threshold. So, for example, if you are in, this is of course your own personal light level, because only the player matters, to be honest, because nobody else does any sneaking in Skyrim. You're the only person who does any sneaking, so that's why I said it this way, because it doesn't really matter whether other enemies are sneaking at all. Hardly. So, darkness threshold. If you are in a dark shadow, and your light level is 20, and of course the threshold is 75, that's 55 points there. 55 points of blindness is how they're going to get hit at, multiplied by the blindness mod. So that's how it works. So for example, this is 1.25, 125%. So let's make it an easier calculation. Let's make it 50 exactly, right? No, that's not 50. Make it easier. Let's make it 40 points. So this is 35. So let's say you're in a shadowy area. Your light level is 35 exactly, which is 40 points darker than the threshold. Well, that's 40 points, right? Well, that means the enemy will be blinded by exactly 50 points, 50% blind. I think that's, I think you get the idea. Now, next is Night Eye. If they have Night Eye, they're not absolutely immune to blindness. It's just they're far less likely to be blinded. So the threshold is 30 here, and because of that, it's only you only have 30 points to work with before you hit 0, right? And so I've multiplied that threshold, the amount that you're blinded by 2.2. So, for example, if you're in a place that has 0 light, and of course the threshold is 30, so that's 30 points of blindness, but obviously multiplied by 2.2, so there's 66% blind if you're in a place that is pitch black. Now this is at nighttime. The daytime variables are slightly different. And we'll get to that next. And this is maximum detection distance. This is how far away they can detect you. 2,400 is about, what is that? Let's get a calculator. 2,400, what? 2,400 divided by 4096. That's 58.5% of a cell away. So, in fact, I don't have that installed. Never mind. I can't do that. I wanted to show you exactly how much 2,500 units was, which I could have done with a different mod, but unfortunately I don't have this. I turned that off because my computer was acting up, so I got a blue screen of death. So yeah, something's wrong with my computer. I really need to get that fixed one of these days, but I can't afford it right now. Anyways, I'm going off on a tangent. Maximum detection distance, I think that's self-explanatory. Next, diurnal phase. This variable, this button will change which of these values is being shown. These values and these blindness values. Basically, these are the day values, and this is the night values. Day values, night values. So for example, at nighttime, darkness threshold is 75. At daytime, the darkness threshold is 100. In other words, in the daytime, the threshold is higher because you're in a generally brighter environment, and so they start being blinded at a higher level of light. Right? Anyways, I think that's self-explanatory. Next, acting diurnal phase is disabled. That's just that only exists for a special case. Let's just change this. For example, let's do fully static with weather. In areas that are completely static that have no that have no weather, it doesn't matter. This variable, it only matters if A, you don't have frostfall installed. If you have frostfall installed, this doesn't do anything. If you don't have frostfall installed, and you're in a static area that has weather, and there aren't any vanilla areas that are like that, but just in case I added this in, just for mod compatibility reasons, you can change what is the current phase. What does the game consider the phase of? What time of day does it think that this indoor static area is? Is it daytime? Is it twilight? Is it nighttime? I don't know. So, for example, you might apply that to the Apocrypha or the Soul Cairn, but as far as I know, they don't have weather. If they had weather, you would want to set those as fully static with weather. Maybe a Plane of Oblivion that someone mods in might be like that. So, and maybe it's constantly twilight. In which case, you want to set that as static with weather and twilight, that kind of thing. So that's why that exists, just so that it knows how to calculate the temperature it's supposed to be. But obviously, it only has to calculate the temperature if frostfall is not installed. Okay, yes, maybe I'm going a little bit too long-winded with these explanations. Visual clarity. That's how well they can see you in general in this location at this point in time. In fact, let's go back to weather. So at nighttime they can see you 42%, daytime they can see you 55%. That's the bonus that they get. Ambient light level. This is how well they can see you even if you are in a zero light environment. So even if your player light level is 0, it still gets 21 added to that at nighttime, and 35 added during the daytime. Now, why am I adding this? You might ask. The vanilla value, I think, is 15. So basically, even if you're in a completely pitch black area, they can still see you, and they can see you quite well if you have poor stealth, which is why I added the blindness mechanic. Well, this is so that they can actually see you if they have night vision. If they have blindness, if they're a normal character, they will be blinded to you, and this 21 will be decreased by however dark you are. So you're going to be able to hide just fine. On the other hand, so this is modified by the blindness. Obviously, if you turn blindness off here, then these variables do nothing. Just to let you know. If it's on, as it is now, then it does do something, and it'll modify the ambient light level. Now, the ambient light level will be only modified by, for example, if they have night vision, it'll only be modified by this night eye threshold and night eye mod and whatnot. Next, movement visibility, running visibility. This is what bonus they get to detecting you if you're either moving or running. Field of view, how their field of view vision as I know how to describe it. It's field of view is field of view. They're how many degrees left and right they can see, or actually how many degrees total they can see in front of them. Default Skyrim is 190 degrees, which means they can see you even if you're slightly behind them, which is kind of ridiculous. And you can set that by time of day. It changes. They can see better during the day than at night. Auditory clarity is how well they can hear you in general. And base movement noise is basically the same as ambient light level. This is how well they can hear you even if you're butt naked. And movement audibility is, again, the bonus that they get when you're moving and the bonus that they get when you're running versus when you're running. This, I think, the running overwrites movement. And in fact, they can't even hear you if you don't move, so that's good. And reverb level is how well they can hear you when you are out of the line of sight, basically. Let me see if there are any other comments. No, there aren't. Okay, next. Area customization. Area customization. So basically you have a list of locations here. This chooses which list you want to choose from. The world space list. Right now there's only Skyrim world. You know. But for example, if I went into Whiterun, then the Whiterun world will be included in the list. Solitude, one of the many of the major holds, Solstein, the Apocrypha, world spaces basically. Those will be in this list. Cell list is interiors. So Azure Star's interior. This is the default that I've added into a preset because Azure Star's interior is a custom location. It has very poor lighting, but it looks very bright. So when I say it has poor lighting, I'm saying the in-game calculations when it comes to detection, it appears as though you're in a very dark location, like 30 points of light. That's it. Whereas the default is, bright light is from 100 to 150. You're only in a 30 light level area. In other words, quite dark, which means the NPCs can't see you very well at all. And yet, the Azure Star interior itself is very bright, and it's very easy to see you on screen, which there's this disparity there. And so in order to fix that, I have a custom setting for that location, just for that one. I don't know if there are any other locations that are like that. I haven't gone through all of Skyrim because it's a little bit too much of a pain. In fact, I've gone through a lot of it, but I just ran out of steam after going through the first third, I think, of the locations, but it's kind of a pain. Anyways, so this is the interior cell list, and there's almost no exceptions anyway, so I didn't really feel like I should bother. This is the only one that I found that actually warranted having a custom location for. And so that means, in fact, let's go back to, this is the world space list, cell list, which are interiors, and location list. These are exterior locations. For example, Riverwood is a bunch of cells in the outer world space in Skyrim, but it's only within that locale. So if you're in Riverwood, you want to change the variables just a tiny bit, right? Honeyberg Meteor isn't meaning there. Riverwood. In Riverwood, it's town. In Honeyberg Meteor, it's the same as any other wilderness. You can change that if you want. In fact, so let's go on. So these are the list of areas, obviously, which are in that world space here. And Skyrim we can't change. I've made it like that because otherwise locations don't work. Area type. Let's go back to here. So here you can set the type of area it is. For example, let's say remember this is exterior. Well, let's say you want to set it so it's a little bit noisier here. You want to set it to be a town because you have a mod that adds people here and makes it a little bit more vibrant. Bam, you can set it to be a town here in this location. But we're not going to do that. We'll go back no. Or let's suppose you want to set it to be custom. You want it to be absolutely silent here so they can hear you very well. You can do that. Just add a new area type. Bam. And I'm not going to do that right now, but you can just do that, and you can change the name at which it will be called, which will be showing up in the list here, and it'll be added to this list right here. And you can go to there, and for example, this is what I added here, Azure Star Interior. I've added this using this very menu here. Add new area type from this list here. This used to be just the default interior. I said customize area. You have to click this here. Of course, once it's customized, you can't customize it again. Add new area type to list. Click that, and I set it to. I didn't change the name. It's the same. But then you can go here, and you can set the variables for that location here. So basically, the threshold is much lower because it's really dark, and maybe I should increase visual clarity. Well, we'll see. I'm not sure. I haven't actually tested this very much. That's what I need you guys for. Please give me feedback. Test this. Tell me what's wrong with it, and I'll fix it as much as possible. Next. So this is the area customization. This helps you customize individual areas. This is the area type. So these are the area types here, right? So it's either a mine or an inn or a store or a town and whatnot. And let's suppose you want to copy some of the variables. You made some changes to the default area type, default interior, and you want to spread that across all of the different interior type area types. Well, you can do that here. You know, for example, so this is copy settings from one type to another, to selected. So we're going to copy from default interior to Dwemer Ruins. Okay, let's suppose I change that. I want to copy it to this from there to here. Which phase am I going to copy? Am I going to copy night variables, day variables, or both? This is both, right? And this is what variables I'm going to copy: visual values, audio values, blind values, or just the the time of day values. Now this is convenient. Time of day. I want to copy the time of day change to all areas. I can do that. Instead of doing one, I can do from, not to just the selected, but to all of the type. I want to copy to all interior locations or all exterior locations from wilderness. Here we go. Wilderness to fully dynamic, night and day, change the phase change times. So basically, let's suppose I wanted to change the times. Let's go to wilderness. Let's in fact demonstrate that. And instead of night, wants to start that at, let's suppose, at 8 o'clock. Night starts at 8. Okay. So, but that's only for wilderness. If we go to, say, towns and inns, it's still 9 o'clock. Well, that's problematic if I wanted to do that every single individual time. It's a pain in the rear. So, here, all to type. Wilderness, well, I can copy to all. All different types, every single one is going to be set day and night to the same, but I don't want to do that. I want to only copy to, well, I can copy to each individual one, I can copy to town, then hold, and blah blah blah, but that's also a pain. So all of type, fully dynamic. Good. And only the phase change times, ready. Yes, I do. Ready is, and there we go. So it's 8 o'clock, let's check. Major hold, 8 o'clock. Minor hold, 8 o'clock. Town, 8 o'clock. And I think those are the only ones that are fully dynamic. I'm pretty sure. Okay, so anyways, that's that. So this allows you to copy bunches of variables from one that you've already changed beforehand to any other set that you want. Just for convenience. In fact, you can actually modify the JSON, the preset files here. You could just save a preset and then modify it in a text editor outside of the game, but if you just want to do that in game, you can do that here. Okay, next. Oh man, how much time am I taking? Well, I'm going to try and hurry this up. Weather influence options. Weather and auxiliary. So first, weather options here. This is just how well they can see you and how well they can hear, how hard it is to hear you and see you in different weather conditions. In a fog, they can't see you quite as well. They only have 90% visibility, shall we say, which means that the detection distance decreases by 90%, it decreases to 90%, shall we say, from 100%. So let's say the detection distance is 3,000, it'll decrease to 2,700. So detection decreases, the detection distance decreases, and various other options as well decrease depending on what it is that they're looking at. For example, heat detection, heat vision, and whatnot is modified by visibility. Blizzards, very hard to see you in a blizzard. You know. Now you can change all these, and also here how well can they hear you, and how well they can hear you modifies how well they can smell you as well. The same kind of conditions that makes it hard to hear can also make it hard to smell you, so on and so forth. Twilight awareness penalty. So between the hours of 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. Oh, no, not 5 a.m. 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. or 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. The twilight hours that have been set by this, as we can see. During those hours, instead of a linear change from night variables to day variables, there's actually it's non-linear. It's a kind of a dip. So halfway through the change, it's only going up half of half. In other words, a fourth. So it's a non-linear increase from night to day. So exactly halfway in between 5 a.m. and 9 a.m., which would be, what, 7? At 7 a.m., instead of being halfway in between, as if it were linear, it's only a quarter of the way up from nighttime values. I did that because the twilight, during twilight, it actually gets a lot Visually, it looks a lot. It doesn't look nearly as bright as the light level would indicate. Now, visually on screen, it doesn't look very bright, and yet at the same time, the light level values increases. So, in order to mitigate that, I'm adding this twilight awareness penalty. You can change that depending on your configuration that you have. If you have, different weather, for example, vivid weather or whatnot, or your EMB, I don't know. Depending on how it appears, how you've set up your Skyrim, this 50% may have to change. Maybe you can want to turn it off. You can set it 0% and it'll turn off completely. You want to, it just really depends on your system and your mods that you have installed. I find that 50% is a good balance because it kind of goes gradually at the beginning. From 5 a.m. to 7 a.m., there's almost no change in visual brightness, right? But from 7 to 9, there's this huge change. And so this non-linear curve is appropriate, right? Okay. So that's what this helps do, and you can change the curve shape if you want. It's actually based upon a sine wave multiplied by blah blah blah, and it's kind of a pain. I can actually link no, I'm not going to link it. It's a pain. Next, these are two auxiliary. This is a thermal vision option. So undead, temperature dampened. How much clothing and spells decrease your heat signature? I think that's self-explanatory. In degrees. Right. So basically increasing this will make it harder to see you the more warm clothing you have on and the spells that you have. Equipment heat dampening. So basically this is how much this value, 88 degrees, is modified by your equipment. Higher number means harder detection. Heat masking, enchant power. These are the two default values for default equipment and everything. These are for the magic and whatnot. For example, there's an enchantment which masks your heat signature, which is in the game somewhere, which I'm not going to tell where because that would be a spoiler, but I can point out hints to you. In fact, maybe I should do that in the mod page if you really want to know. It's not that hard to find, to be honest. It's not like it's hidden anywhere. So basically that enchantment only masks 20% of your heat signature. There's a cooling essence, although you need a recipe to make the cooling essence using Ice Wraith Blood, which masks your heat signature by 30%, and there's also a magic spell which you can use to mask your heat signature, which masks 45% of your heat signature. But it also cools you down. If you have Frostfall installed, it will increase your exposure over time. Yeah. Next, Magicka ignored. Oh, this is for Magicka detection for the Dwemer. Maybe I should change that instead of making a magic detection. Anyway, sorry, going off on a tangent. Magic ignored. 50 points of Magicka are ignored completely. So if you're a level 1 character and you only have 50 Magicka, Dwemer won't be able to detect you because you are nobody. Your soul isn't powerful enough. Now, on the other hand, as you level up and you invest more into Magicka, then you'll get more than 50 points of Magicka, and so you will be detected at that point. And so there is a magic spell that exists in game that will basically sacrifice a part of your health for being able to be ignored by Dwemer. Not ignored, but they can't detect you by Magicka, shall we say. And this is the detection distance. This is how far away they can detect you in default conditions. Same here. This is how far they can detect you. You can set this shorter if you think that they can detect you from too far away. Okay, next, smell settings. Exactly the same. Player body odor. This is how well they can smell you. By default, it's set at 100%. High values will make sneaking practically impossible. That's very true. Dirtiness percentage modifier. This only exists if bathing in Skyrim is installed. Right. And so this is how much the dirtiness factor scales in smelling and all that. So, and as it says here, this and player body odor should add up to 200% together. Total of 200%. Now it's 100% each by default. You can change that if you think dirtiness should be more important and base smell should be less important. You can change that to, like, say 50% and 150%. Oh, I can't set that to 150%? What? Are you serious? I need to fix that, don't I? Yeah, I should change that. Yeah. I'll make a note of it. Next, smell distance space. This is how far away they can smell you. 2400. And that's modified by deodorant. If you're wearing deodorant, they can't smell you nearly as far. This decreases the distance they can smell you by 20%, 30%, 50%, and 25%. Other magic powers. This is something to note. Oh, this is deodorant powder and zeolite powder you need recipes to create them. Deodorant you should be able to find in the world anywhere. Zeolite you can only craft, and there's a recipe hidden somewhere in the world. Smell masking power. This is a magical spell which is sold in various locations, and there's also a master version, not a master, I think an expert version of the spell which you can find somewhere, which masks half your smell. And other magic powers. If you're wearing a flame cloak or a lightning cloak, that will actually decrease the ability for the enemy to smell you, because flames and electricity will actually destroy those volatile chemicals which your body gives off. Yay! Hooray for science. Now, on the other hand, what was I saying? Other magic power, 25%. Right, if you're having a frost cloak or the wind cloak thing which comes in Dragonborn, it will actually make it easier for them to smell you because you're pushing air away from you at a faster velocity, which means a greater spread of your smell. And next, these are the tier options. So you have 6 total tiers of animal smell sensitivity, NPC smell sensitivity, at 90% they can't smell you hardly at all. Now this is for NPCs, hag ravens, and giants. Basically, those are the 3 categories which I have in NPCs. They can't smell you hardly at all. They can only smell you if A, you have bathing Skyrim and are extremely dirty, or B, you are standing right in front of their face. And even then, not very well. They still won't be able to smell you well. Next, default smell sensitivity is for basically any creature that is not in any of the tiers. I just created that just to make sure, just to cover for all my bases. For example, skeevers are here. Saber cats are actually here. And just about anybody, most of the animals are in this level here, like cows and whatnot. Goats. Next, tier level 1. This is, as it says, dogs, wolves, werewolves, and any sub-genre of them. Hellhounds and whatnot. They're all in this tier 1 sensitivity. Tier 2 sensitivity. This is deer and mammoth. Deer actually have a very high sensitivity to smell. You know, they are prey, and so they have to be wary of predators sneaking up on them. Next is bears and werebears. Bears can smell you from 20 miles away. Maybe not 20. Is it 20? I don't remember. It's crazy. And finally, Falmer, because they're blind, so they need some advantage. So Falmer have the highest smell sensitivity of all. And if you think that these are unbalanced or unfair, you can always tweak them. Obviously, all of these are tweakables for you. Next, racial abilities. So let's go to chickens. And let's suppose you have an enemy chicken type, and you think that they should be able to smell you very well. They have they have heat vision. They can sense your fear or whatnot. If you think the chickens should have heat vision, you can give it to them. In fact, you can change any race you want. Mud crabs. Mud crabs cannot smell by default, but you think, hey, no, wait, they should be able to smell. They actually have chemical receptors and blah, 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 blah. You can add smell to them. By default, they don't. Highland cows. Whatever. Any race you want can be changed here. The vampire races can be set. Any custom races. So this is an important thing for custom races, and I haven't set up they will be all defaulted. So the default races, they can be blinded, they can smell, and they don't have anything else by default. Now, if they have the undead tag, they have heat vision. If they have a vampire tag, they have heat vision. If they have a Dwemer tag, they have magic detection. And nothing else. So, and night vision, nobody by default has night vision. There's no check for that. So that's just how it is. And if you think, oh no, this creature should have night vision, bam, you can go in and change it. I do have quite a bit of compatibility already pre-installed, but I can't cover for everybody's bases. Next, this allows you to manage presets. So here's a list of all the presets that we already have. Easy. let's say I want to do easy. Just select that, select easy, and hit load. Bam. And it's been loaded. Exit MCM before continuing to configure. Very important. Always exit the menu. There we go. We can go back in, and I can reconfigure everything now. Safely, you know. So now, look, the detection bonus is decreased. Maximum bonus. You know, maybe I should change the maximum bonus for easy. Make it down to like something like 30 or something. I should do that. Yeah, anyway, so that's how you can do that. And if you want to create a new file, just create a new file, type in the file name, Bob. I can save the Bob preset like that. Okay? And that's it. And finally, this page just gives you a list of current variables. Wilderness, we are currently in the wilderness. Currently, we're at Honeydew Meadery. We are in the Skyrim world space. Light level is 87. Heat blindness, blah, 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 blah. Heat vision. Oh, this is how much people with heat vision are blinded. They're not blinded at all. Why? Because, hey, it's... Oh, I need to change this order. Heat vision, night vision... well, it doesn't matter. In any case, heat vision, they're not blinded. Normal, 11% blind. I guess it's not that bright right now, is it? But still, 11%, there's almost no change. It's just... if they can see, they can't see you. If they can see you at, what is the, instead of being able to see you at 2,600 meters or whatever the unit is, not 2,600 meters. That's wrong. 2,600 centimeters. Instead of being able to see you from 26 meters away, 27-ish, that's what the 1/9 decrease. So, quick math, 3, less, not quite 3, 2.5 maybe, more than 2.5, almost 3, so 23-ish so meters away they can see you, instead of 26. Not a big deal, it's not going to change much, but anyways, as you can see, you know, let's go into the shade then. Let's see what happens if you go into a shaded area. Into the darkness. And here we are behind the building. And it's still setting. Bam! Normal blindness. Let's see, as you can see, it's very reactive. 82% blind. Even night vision people are slightly blinded. Only halfway though. And this is, of course, it's going to be really hard to be able to blind night vision people 100%. But of course, that's another thing, is because of contrast, right? Because you are in a dark area and they are not, or that's what I'm assuming. And so that's kind of how it works. And so those are the settings for my mod. Thank you guys for watching. I'll try and upload this to YouTube and see if there are any problems. I don't know if it's even streaming properly right now. Oh, see, look, I'm getting a good frame rate now. What was up with like 20 frames per second in vanilla Skyrim? That was ridiculous. Now, I know my EMB is taxing on my system, but still, 20? That's just ridiculous. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'm just going to take a break from Skyrim for a while. I just, no more Skyrim. Sorry, guys. It's just, whatever. I just spent way too much time modding. In fact, I've spent over, what, in the past year, I've spent over 300 hours in-game testing my mod without playing a single bit of actual Skyrim. So yeah, I'm not gonna be playing Skyrim for now. Maybe once I get over it, like I feel like it again. And if I can stream, because my
Helgen got hit by a dragon.
Shut up.
One of those horrors comes here.
Man, these vanilla Skyrim is terrible. Terrible. I need to get my yeah. So that's everything. I'll see you guys around. Thank you for watching, and signing off.